Hey, what's up, guys? Mike Success here at Studio Square. Teamed up with them to do this web series. What we're doing here is we're giving advice. We want to help, educate, empower all you artists, creatives, entrepreneurs alike. And we want to develop you from a brand and turn you into a business. So in essence, what we're going to do, we're going to take you from a person and turn you into a brand, turn that brand into a business, all right? And remember, business is always personal. Alright guys, welcome back to our show, right? Past few weeks you've been listening to just me talk, right? Probably bored of that. So I had to bring in my man, Hip Hop Mike. It's my man right here. Let me tell you something about this dude. Love this dude, right? But he has a lot of knowledge, right? So, Hip Hop Mike, previously on Hot 97, not there no more, right?
It's quiet.
It's quiet. But, you know, he has a lot of knowledge, been in the game for a while, managed artists. I trust him so much that he's running our music situation. Won't get into it too much, but he's running our whole music situation. I trust him. He got knowledge like crazy, so I wanted to bring him. And Mike, I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you. I'm not like running, like I'm part of a great team of people who are running ish in this city, you know, like in general. But it's great to be here, bro. I heard we was spitting some gems and, you know, giving people some good content, some good advice. So listen up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so I figured, you know, once they got tired of talking to this bald dude with glasses, like, you gotta understand, there's like a lot of history. Me and Mike.
I got a number 1.
I got a number none. Nice. I got a number none. But anyway, I brought you in because I really wanted to really talk about a lot of things as far as on the music side, right? As far as distribution, everything like that. So when artists are kind of putting their plan, right? Everything is all about a plan and everything like that. When it comes to, you know, dropping, as we know, a lot of artists, they want to go into the studio tomorrow and be like, hey, I want to drop it tomorrow.
Yo, shout out to Benzo.
Why do you suggest that they don't do that?
I think it's really just like more so what's your goals in this, you know, like if you have the goal to really be a big mainstream or more established artist, you want to make money off your music, you want to do things that are going to kind of like build a career and not just like a moment. It's important to plan, and it's really hard to plan within a day if you're going to do things the right way.
Right.
I guess when I say the right way, I mean like, you know, cover your bases and, you know, make sure you get your publishing right, you know, your distribution is set up so that you could collect something on your streams. So, I mean, there's artists that definitely, they might drop and do well, but then in the long run, if the song does really well, you might not be doing really well. So, there's definitely, in essence, I'd say priority. Mm-hmm. It's like a priority to really try and drop things, you know, maybe 30 days.
That's what I was going to say. Would you suggest, because I know sometimes, like I said, artists want to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But can it be 2 weeks, 30 days? What would you suggest? Your suggestion is 30 days?
I think the more you could plan ahead, the better. I wouldn't say get too ahead of yourself because, you know, although, the business is super important, it's also the moment is important too. Mm. So, you know, if you're an artist that is kind of like making records for the summer and, you know, you're planning all the way into December, those records might not necessarily fit that late.
Right.
But I think if you could get at least 30 days, 3 weeks, you know, maybe month and a half to really, you know, just set everything up, because it's not just the record. Like, if you're going to do it right, you're going to do, the artwork has to be put out, you know, if it's an album, especially track listing, you got to cover the base again with, like, you know, the publishing, the distribution, who's going to collect your masters. So that takes a little bit of time. Are you doing promotion with this? So it's really, like, important, I think, to get, like, a whiteboard or something and really map out a calendar so that, you know, instead of just giving people a song to listen to, you're giving them an experience and you're able to kind of give them, like, you know, a bit and a piece as people go on are going to see, like, I mean, you give them bits and pieces of, like, yourself in a sense through the promo and everything too.
And in your experience, do you find it hard for artists to really understand that aspect? Because I know we deal on the business side.
Yeah.
We speak about this a lot. We definitely speak about this a lot. But it's, you got the creatives and then you got the business guys. Business people understand the whole breakdown and planning, but do you find it that artists sometimes have a difficult time just grasping that whole concept of that?
I'll put it like this, like, I'm not gonna check for an artist that's dropping tomorrow. You know, like, if you're hitting me up and you're like, hey, I'm putting this out tomorrow and I don't see any promo, I don't see anything behind it, I know it's gonna be kind of sloppy. So, you know, I'm not against necessarily putting out a record the next day, but then I would say that you're just trying to kind of do it for fun. You're not necessarily doing this because you want a career out of it or because you're trying to be an entertainer.
Right.
You know, I definitely think too, like, you know, what I mentioned about the timing, artists, like, you know, you want to really be impactful, like, at least in my opinion. If you're the kind of artist that, again, wants to be on radio, you want to do things like get coverage and be in media and do collabs with other artists. Like, a lot of people are moving on a calendar, and if you don't have a calendar of your own, you know, I don't want to meet with any artist that's just dropping randomly. You know, it just makes it more difficult for me to do my job, and, you know, I think the more organized you are, the better in this game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I think too, what happens is that a lot of artists, they think they immediately, because they're artists, and I get it, it's record, drop, master, give it to whoever, but there's a lot of other things that's not just that. So why don't you talk a little bit about what it is besides just giving it to your, you know, distro or whoever it is that you're dealing with?
I see artists, like, in my opinion, the mistake a lot of artists make is, like, they'll record and that same night they'll love the song so much they just want to get it out. And it's like, it makes sense. Like, I get it. You know, like, you be in the studio with something, like, I've been in the studio with a couple of artists that are just, like, they make something and I'm like, oh, I need that, like, right now to listen to on the way home. And, you know, I might be able to get the record and listen to it on the way home, but it's not mixed, it's not mastered. I haven't sat with it to the point where I'm like, oh, this could be a little better, this could be stronger, could have said that. So I think the more care and consideration you put into it, the better it's going to be. I mean, that goes with anything. But again, it's really, like, so much of it starts with the intention. Like, you know, if you're an artist that, you know, you're just making records and you're trying to throw them out, I mean, by all means, you do what you want to do, but, you know, you're wasting money in the studio because it's not going to come back on the record, you know?
Exactly.
So it makes it tricky, but I think there's a lot of simple things you could do. It doesn't necessarily, like, you know, the other thing I feel is artists feel like, oh, well, I don't like putting so much planning into it. It's a lot of work, and I'm not there yet. Let me just get some stuff out. And I don't think it always has to be necessarily like, let me get my distribution involved and my publishing and everything. Like, in a perfect world, it would be.
Right.
But you could also do the simple things like, you know what, let me sample this on my live for some people and see how they feel about it. Right. Let me put it on my Instagram. All free things that you could do to kind of get people's reaction and build a little more, even if you're not completely building all the way out, you know?
Yeah. Now, what are the, if you're ready to drop, like if you had like a checklist, right? Boom, you got the song that you like. What do you do first? You came out the studio, got the song, dope. All right, I'm ready to rock. What would you suggest? Like, what in order of what we're speaking about? What would you say?
I mean, if you're really trying to be an entertainer and do it for real, I think that first you record the song, take the mix from that night, listen back to it, figure out how you could polish it, tweak it up. Get back in the booth in another session, maybe finish it up, submit it to get mastered. Once it's mastered and it's kind of ready to go, from there, it could kind of vary, you know, because it depends what you're trying to do with the record. Like, if it's a radio record, maybe you want to get another session and just cut DJ drops, you want to make a clean version. You know, if it's something that you're trying to pitch for, like, sync licensing, you want to try and get it into movies, television, you have to have a clean version. Right. So, like, those things I think are very important because a lot of artists don't really think that far ahead. Right. You know, they're kind of just, like, in the moment, like, all right, well, here's the dirty version. I hope you like it. And, like, it's very rare you'll find a DJ that's going to sit and clean a record for you. Yeah. So, you know, maybe you get away with it and, like, if you're trying to get a record to the clubs or if it's just something you want to do, like, a TikTok or whatever, too. But, like, you definitely off rip want to make sure that you at least have a plan to, like, clear the beat, to clear, you know, everything through. If you do self-distribution through TuneCore, do your splits. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It's just, like, it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of attention.
See, and basically, remember, I don't know if you guys, whoever watched previously, but I was talking about planning, right? And that's what you want to do. In art, that's the saying I always say, art is never wrong. It's never wrong, right? Because it's your artistic expression. But getting the right people around you to handle these things, because as an artist, you want to handle your business, right? So let the business people handle their business, but you got to trust the people, right? And that's what Mike is touching on and talking about, all of these different things, because he and I, like I said, We've had conversations with our own stuff that we're dealing with. But the thing is that you got to get the right people around you to handle these things for you, so that when a hip hop Mike or whoever looks at you, it's like, wow, this person is doing a thing, right? Because there's tons of you out there. There's millions of artists. So I'd rather sit here, and maybe this song I don't like as much, but their business is in order. I'd rather rock with that because I know they take it seriously.
I gotta add to that too, because a lot of artists, I think, are so adamant about, like, well, I'm not gonna do business with anybody until this person hits me or that person. And I used a pretty good example the other day with a friend of mine. We were listening to some music, and I told him, I'm like, you know, he had his girlfriend with him. I'm like, just because y'all have a great relationship and she's really good to you and you're really good to her, if me and her were together, it wouldn't, like, maybe she hates me, you know? So it doesn't make, like, her a bad partner, but it's just not the right chemistry for me. I think the same goes when it comes to your marketing teams, your promotion. Like, not every relationship is necessarily one that's meant for you. And even if you're an independent artist and you have a hard time finding a team, you don't have people around you that are able to help, do the research on the different types of distribution. You could use United Masters, which comes with certain benefits. You could use TuneCore, which comes with certain benefits. You know, really take the little bit of time that it does take to go see what is on the back end. There's YouTube videos on everything. Go on YouTube, watch a video about how to distribute a song, and find the different options and which one works for you, you know? Because not every option maybe works for you. Maybe it's not worth it to spend a little more money to do distribution, to get sync licensing and all if you're not there yet. And save a little bit of money and keep more of the rights to yourself. So I think the relationships are very, very important, even if you're by yourself. You know, who you're utilizing, what platforms you're utilizing is very essential, because a lot of artists, they just throw things on SoundCloud and it doesn't necessarily come with any benefits, and it doesn't take much of an investment to, like, put something through a distribution and get it on all streaming. And I think the return, it's like putting a quarter in a parking meter. It's like, yeah, it sucks to put a quarter in, but, like, you avoid a $50 ticket, exactly. So, like, it's worth it every time.
Yeah.
You know?
And you could switch it up. You know, like, I've used United Master. I mean, my teams, my camps have used United Masters, and then you switch to a DistroKid, and then maybe you switch. You go all over and you try to figure out. You're trying to build. You're trying to build this whole scenario, and it's the beginning. It's trial and error.
Get a date around.
Exactly. That's basically what it is. As always, I need you to like, comment, subscribe, but I need you to leave in the comments if you want my man, Hip Hop Mike, to come back. And even if you don't comment, he's still gonna come back.
I'm gonna come back
because it's my guy.
I'm gonna drop
and this is a good person. I always tell you about having good people and good energy. And if you don't have those people with you, trust me, you do the work, you're gonna attract them. They're gonna come to you. Trust me, this is a good guy. I appreciate you, Mike, as always, dropping gems. We should open up a jewelry department store.
That's a fact.
All the jewels that we drop.
That's a fact. Yo, and plan ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you planning ahead. I say it again, plan ahead.
Right? This is my man. Business is always personal. Okay?